My slumlord refused to fix our heat and mold, then tried to steal our security deposit, so I reported him to every city agency and cost him thousands in fines and repairs. The apartment was cheap and we were desperate. My 2 roommates and I knew it was not perfect, but we had no idea we were signing a lease with a professional slumlord named Mr. Carter. The problem started in the fall. The ancient furnace would clank and groan but produce no heat. We sent our first email to Mr. Carter in October. He replied 2 weeks later with, "I will look into it." He never did. By November, we were wearing coats inside. We sent emails, we left voicemails. He just ignored us. We had to buy 3 electric space heaters just to keep the apartment from freezing, and our electricity bill skyrocketed. Then came the leaks. A dark, ugly spot appeared on the bathroom ceiling. It grew bigger and bigger until one day a steady drip of murky water started falling into our tub. A black, fuzzy mold started to grow around the wet patch. This time his response was to blame us. He said we were not using the ventilation fan properly and that the mold was our fault. He told us to clean it with bleach. We lived like that for the entire year of our lease, freezing in the winter, breathing in mold spores, and sending a constant stream of documented, ignored repair requests. We knew we were not getting our security deposit back, but we had no idea how bad he would be. When we finally moved out, we left the apartment cleaner than we found it. We scrubbed it from top to bottom. A week later, I got a letter from him. Not only was he keeping our entire $2,000 security deposit, but he was also billing us an extra $1,500 for damages. He included a blurry photo of the mold patch he never fixed and a list of completely fabricated issues, like broken tiles and carpet replacement. It was a blatant, shameless attempt to extort money from us. That was his mistake. He thought we were just 3 broke college kids he could bully. He did not realize that I had spent the last 2 months of our lease researching every single housing law and city ordinance in our state. I did not just want our deposit back, I wanted to bring the hammer down on him. So I prepared what I called the code enforcement bomb. On a Monday morning, I started making calls. First, I called the city's Department of Health and filed a detailed complaint about the black mold, complete with a dozen high-resolution photos and a timeline of our ignored requests. Next, I called the Department of Buildings and filed a complaint about the lack of heating, the leaking roof, and several other code violations I had found, like the fact that none of our bedrooms had working smoke detectors, which was highly illegal. Then, I called the city's tenant rights office and reported him for illegally withholding our security deposit and attempting to charge us for pre-existing issues and normal wear and tear. For my final move, I did a public records search on his property. I discovered he had illegally converted the building into 3 units when it was only zoned for 2. So, I sent an anonymous tip to the city planning and zoning department. The effect was immediate and catastrophic for him. Within a week, inspectors from 3 different departments descended on that property. He was hit with massive fines from the health department for the mold, which they deemed a serious health hazard. The building department fined him for the heating violations, the faulty smoke detectors, and the unpermitted construction. The tenant rights office sent him a legally binding letter demanding he return our full security deposit, plus an equal amount in penalties, or face a lawsuit. The zoning department hit him the hardest. They gave him 90 days to either convert the building back to 2 units, which meant losing a huge chunk of his rental income, or bring the entire building up to modern code, which would cost him a fortune. He got a certified check in the mail for $4,000 2 weeks later. We never heard from him directly, but I heard from the tenants who lived below us. They said he was having a complete meltdown, forced to spend tens of thousands of dollars on plumbers, electricians, and mold remediation specialists. He thought he could steal $2,000 from us. Instead, we used the power of the system to make his life a bureaucratic nightmare.